What's going on, you guys? This is about BatHeadL24 here, and our favorite psychotic and mad scientist, the Theorizer, is back with another banger! This time, however, it's a theory on Shark Boy and Lava Girl, a movie that I have not thought about in literal years. Until I started seeing Theorizer posting about it on Twitter about how he was thinking about doing the theory and how he had ideas for a theory and stuff like that. Most of which revolve around blurring the lines and blurring the distinction between Max's dream world and the real world, because apparently there's connections between both, from what I'm getting at from his Twitter posts. I'm so excited for this because I've been watching this guy have Mandalorian on Twitter about this, and it's like I need to watch. Let me just get into it.
Studying childhood movies, I've never seen something as insane as Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Oh?
This was supposed to be a wacky kids movie.
Yeah?
About dreams coming true.
Yeah?
It's all a lie. I believe there's a much darker story that's been hiding in plain sight for years. It's a story about evil children, military spies, and shadowy figures from false realities. It's all hidden in strange journal entries and a forgotten sequel. And to top it all off, all of the dreams in this movie were not dreams at all. And I can prove it. This is the truth about Shark Boy and Lava Girl. If you still don't know, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl is a very famous kids movie made in 2005 by Robert Rodriguez, the creator of Spy Kids. This movie is famous for being very weird. It's definitely for children, but it's more than that. The director based the whole movie off of his son's dreams. He produced the whole thing, including the soundtrack and special effects, all by himself. And when you watch it, nothing makes sense. It's very confusing.
One of the things about this movie is that a lot of it is like, it doesn't really make all that much sense. Like, the beginning is like, yeah, sure, you have this kid running in his dream journal, you know, about his dreams and stuff like that. Bully steals his dream journal, stuff like that, and shit happens, and I haven't watched the movie in a little year, so I can't really explain what happens in the movie. And even if I have seen it recently, I still won't be able to fucking explain what happens because, let's be honest, this entire movie is a fever dream. Like, case in point, the entire movie is a fever dream, and, I mean, I would say if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it, but I don't know if you guys would even be interested in watching it, so I'll just say, if you want to watch it, you can watch it. Yeah. That's about it.
I mean, on the surface, it stars a boy named Max who dreams up amazing worlds in his sleep to escape his sad life. But one day, in class, his two greatest creations,
come to life.
Boy and Lava Girl, show up, needing him to save their planet. On their planet, he finds all of his other dreams and learns self-control while bonding with his classmates. But suddenly, he wakes up from the whole adventure in his classroom. Was it all just fake? No. His classmates remember being there with him.
I was gonna say.
He's better at dreaming. So he stands up, looks at his friends, and they all make their dreams come true and save the day in the real world. Somehow they have superpowers. Max just explains that he
interesting.
Dream, and his life gets better. But I'm suspicious. Does Max control?
I was gonna say, how are the things that happen in his dreams happening in real life? That was one of the things that the Theorizer mentioned on Twitter, is that there's not really much of a distinction between Max's dream world and the real world. It seems like a lot of things that happen in the dream world can also happen in the real world, and that Max has control not only over the dream world, but the real world, which is crazy, but makes a little bit of sense. As of right now, I'm sure Theorizer is going to explain how this makes even more sense.
How does everyone else control reality?
Yeah.
Who is able to control things? Is the planet what was real? Manifested? What is a dream? Reality on planet Rule reflect of reality? Dream journal. What is going on?
Oh god, lots of questions.
And finally, what caused all of this to happen?
Yeah. Chapter 1, Max's Superpowers. In chapters! Theorizer! You're really stepping up your quality in production. Now we got actual chapters in the video? Well, I mean, I guess, because this theory was originally, like, super long, and it probably would have taken, like, 3 or 4 videos to make, and you had to really condense it down a lot, in order just to fit it into 30 minutes. So, you can kind of, guess, like, how much he had in this theory before condensing it to a mere 30 minutes.
What do we know for certain?
Okay.
We know that Max falls asleep in the middle of class and then wakes up later. The power to control things using his mind. He made the big bad guy, Mr. Electric, appear right before everyone's eyes during the climax. He also created a powerful ice crystal, and his love interest used it to save the day. But many people seem skeptical of this. They ask, well, what about Planet Drool? That was a dream. Why couldn't all of his powers just be a dream too? Well, that might not be a dream.
Yeah.
And also, the movie's message is about dreams being real. You could say the entire movie's a dream. You could even say that him being bullied in the opening sequence was a dream, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
that is definitely real. The director's not lazy. So do you see this scene?
I wish I could just escape this loser world and go to Planet Drool. Games and toys and laughs and fun.
Everything that happens before this scene must be real to make the movie work. So to put an end to this, I spent hours investigating the opening scenes that have his family and friends.
Okay, so the before him saying, I wish I could go to Planet Drool, that stretch of opening scene where it's presumably happening in the real world. Because everything after the point where he says, I wish we could escape this loser world and go to Planet Drool, that's when it starts his dream stuff. Or does it? Because I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out at what point do things get really weird. Because we know that him getting bullied happens in the real world, but like the second half is like, what's going on here? Like, how? And why? And what? And who? And where? You know?
That Max constantly makes things happen like magic.
What?
Here, just before his big wish, Max jumps awake and goes downstairs to find cookies that were eaten by Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yes.
We know this is real because his parents come in and see it too. Max didn't literally cut cookies and melt glass in his sleep. He caused it to happen by imagining it. And seconds before his wishing scene, this happens.
Yes, there is.
Do you see that? Max tried to ignore his dreams.
Wait, hold on, you might be onto something, because he said there's no such thing as Shark Boy and Lava Girl. But then he instantly switched to, yes there is, and immediately things start happening. You know, Max might actually have the power to control reality somehow, somewhat, because this is the real world. Like, this is not his dream world. We've established that. This currently happening before his wish is the real world. So...
And it broke his lava lamp. But when he paused for a minute and accepted them, his lava lamp worked again. He's controlling things somehow.
Yeah.
He knows it deep down. It's not just at home either. There's lots that happens during his first day of school, like confusing his teacher by stopping the dreams in his journal.
This is the real world.
Wait.
Lost my train of thought.
The first big truth is that...
Oh, that's interesting. He says this is the real world. Notices Max writing something in his dream journal and instantly loses his train of thought. Did Max write in his dream journal that the teacher would lose his train of thought. That's the only thing that would make sense to me, is that him writing down these things in his dream journal makes them happen. It's almost like a death note, except instead of a death note, it's a dream journal, and you writing down your dreams makes them happen. Is this a spin-off of Death Note? Now I'm going crazy. Now I'm the one that has more crack theory than theorizer. Holy shit.
The movie doesn't actually lie to us about Max's life. This is his real life, and he can control things. This means the end of the film really did happen too. That's why everyone remembers the battle while he gives his final speech. This is all important to figure out what's really going on. So for those confused, Max has his first day of school. That night he wishes
White is awake.
and dreams about Planet Drool will come
what's
true.
tomorrow?
When he goes to school the next day, it happens.
Drool
The
dreams.
storm that he
Next
wished for
morning,
blows
knocked
out
to
his
sleep.
windows and he hits his head, knocking
More
him to sleep.
dreams.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl take him to save their planet. When he eventually wakes up,
And
his
then he-
dream becomes real.
Yeah.
His wish to become a daydreamer comes true.
Yeah.
And all of his dreams suddenly appear in front of his real class, leading them to save the day. Notice how Shark Boy scratches the chalkboard, but when Max wakes up afterwards, the chalkboard's normal again. His
Chalkboard's
teacher
fine.
is also surprised all over again that Max's dreams come true.
You better go with them. This is real. Your dream is real.
Because Shark Boy and Lava Girl never entered the first time.
What?
It was the explosion that knocked out Max, and them coming in was part of the dream.
Oh my
They
god.
got created when they had to save Max's parents at the end. Linus and Marissa were asleep too. That's why they were there in the dream.
So the explosion that brought in Shark Boy and Lava Girl did not happen in the real world. The explosion knocked Max out, and that's what started his dream. Sorry for that. Voice gag, but that's what started his dream. What? Huh.
With him, the storms and tornadoes and chaos also happened, all because of his wish. Max is like a self-wishing infinity genie, and now he can control it.
Yeah.
He made his dreams come true by wishing they would. The world does what he wants. It's not foreshadowing or a coincidence. It's the whole point. Max is a superhero.
Yeah.
But
What?
Linus does it too.
Does he?
They all do.
Huh?
They share dreams and powers, and that means
I did not
things-
realize that she also wrote down Ice Girl in Dream Boy. And then she gets ice powers in that final fight. And I'm pretty sure Linus also does some weird shit where he wishes for something then it has to come true. Is everyone in this movie a fucking superhero? Or at least they have the power to control reality?
hiding something much deeper, crazier, and more terrifying than any of you can imagine.
Everyone is a god.
So Max has superpowers, but something's gone seriously wrong.
Yeah.
Because the other kids are able to invade his dreams. Reading through his dream journal, things start to get disturbing. He shares it with his class at the beginning, but it dates back to months ago, and yet it contains the entire script of the movie.
Oh my god.
He dreamt all of this back in April and May, and
He
everything...
dreamt the entire movie. What? Bro is the prophecy maker. Holy shit.
Everything was in there, minus Mr. Electric, the different locations, the Ice Princess, and the most existentially terrifying thing I've ever found in a kid's movie,
What?
which is him writing about reading what he wrote about reading and remembering himself remembering it. Max steals back his journal from Linus. He opens the book and it reads, "So then I stole back this very book." He stole the book.
What? Oh. Oh. Oh, my brain. Oh, my brain. Oh, my brain.
No, his brain.
Oh. Oh. Hang on. My brain.
Do you want chicken fingers?
Okay. Let's go.
Book that had him stealing it already written in it. It's like a lucid prophecy. But this makes so much sense. Max has been reliving the whole movie, scene by scene, every night. And this all started in April.
Yeah.
The movie takes place in
August.
This is why he talks about remembering what comes next. During the movie, it all keeps happening. But Linus and Marissa were still sharing this whole dream. Not just when they were sleeping in the classroom, but for months before, too. How did it happen over and over again without them remembering it? There's only one thing this can mean. It means Max's powers are way stronger than you think. It means Max spent months dreaming of his teacher and classmates in these roles. And then, on the day he wished everything would come true, the kids were knocked out along with him and sucked into the whole thing, forced into their roles. He made them become his characters. His powers don't just control things, they control people too. His wish was already working before they were even knocked out. When Marissa comes to school, she's already talking about the Ice Princess. Linus is only ruining the dream world because Max is so worried that he will, and his fear makes it happen. These people are living out his story like puppets on strings. They're prisoners of their own minds and bodies, forced to play out the characters. He even gave them their powers, and he explains how to control them at the end of the movie. Why did Max do this? Well, it's not on purpose. Max's brain created Shark Boy, Lava Girl, Minus, and Mr. Electric without him knowing, to teach him how to dream better. But Max's powers have always been real. So I have to ask, did Linus only bully him because Max made him do it?
What?
Did Max cause it to happen accidentally? It would bring a whole new meaning to Linus getting so angry at Max. Linus literally didn't take the journal and literally didn't ruin it. Max's powers just caused him to do it. And he thinks Max is just attacking him.
Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled!
It would even explain why he acts like such a stereotypical bully, and why everyone just does what he says. Even older kids that don't know him, he just points his fingers and people do things. It's all because Linus is being controlled by a bully version of himself. And either Max or Linus is making everybody follow along. The movie is suggesting that all children have the ability to make their dreams come true, and they just have to learn to control it. So Max has powers, Linus has powers, and we also have Marissa. She takes the role of the powerful Ice Princess because of how cold she is from the air conditioning, but the movie suggests that even adults can make their wishes come true if they dream hard enough. Case in point, Max's dad. He's a creative writer and a bit childish.
I believe him.
His wife is about to divorce him for being immature, but during the final battle, when they try to save Max, a giant tornado sucks up his mom. As she is dragged away, Max's dad tells her how much he loves her. Then he closes his eyes and wishes for her to come back. And just like magic,
she does.
Lava Girl flies down, saving the mother. This must be shocking for them. Max's imaginary friends were real this whole time. How do they respond? His parents are not surprised at all.
Why?
This is very weird. They just smile like they expected it. Then a second tornado randomly appears behind Max's dad, and Shark Boy saves him. It's just like when they talk about the dream they have to get back together.
Mm-hmm.
And here, it happens, using their son's powers. In fact, the whole movie is building to this moment. Shark Boy and Lava Girl represent them. They are
What?
figures that can help teach Max, because his real parents were busy arguing. It all came full circle.
Oh,
And the
shit.
movie was spelling it out. It's everyone. Dreams control reality. The tornadoes got worse as the class began fighting. Each time someone changes things, the lights flicker, storms appear, and people start acting weird. The movie's filled with foreshadowing and exposition, because it isn't foreshadowing. Are characters referencing something that'll happen later? No. Them saying it is what causes it to happen.
What?
It's insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Even the mom, she tells Max,
Mouth closed, eyes open. Now? Yes, now.
and it causes him to literally walk into a wall until she says, "Open your eyes again." Seriously. The twist here is that this is not a joke. It's literally how the movie works. I can't even list everything. Actually, oh yes I can.
Yeah.
And in this time, I am going to list everything I can think of.
Oh, 2 minutes.
Go. When Max goes to bed and dreams up the next day, lightning strikes as he calls for a
Storm.
Max's journey is influenced by him learning about space and having it plastered all around him.
Okay.
Lava Girl is his lava lamp, and Shark Boy is his cereal. Minus is named Minus because of Linus losing school points. Tobor worked and didn't work because Max and his dad believed it. The teacher
Okay.
talks about
Tornado, as the hot and cold chase each other around.
much like the interplay of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Max makes his parents fight worse by believing it's worse. Max controls his dreams so much while on Planet Drool that Lava Girl calls
Max's dream.
even subtle things like Max just saying while on Planet Drool literally stops Linus's wasp attack dead in his tracks. His mom's
Cookies, my giant cookies.
created her and her husband as giants in a land of milk and cookies, manifesting the shared dream for better family that she described. It's not the first time she's made these cookies given the dream repeating, but Max does create this in real time after dreaming of eating while on his venture, meaning it didn't exist seconds before this. It creates Lava Girl's sudden memory of it when she says, "Of
Course.
I'm just
course,"
listening.
like in Lava Girl's entire backstory. Stealing the dream journal stole his dream world, and the dream world dies because Max stopped believing it after it got ruined. Shark Boy faced off against the electric eels that Linus drew at the beginning of the movie. Every single location, from the Stream of Consciousness to the Sea of Confusion to the Train of Thought to the Passage of Time to Mount Everest, are all Max's brain manifesting an entire set of biomes like Inside Out. The electricity is a reference to the plugs by his bedside, the passage of time going backwards because the film is told out of order. Dream Graveyard is what he's given up on. Sugar causes nightmares in reality and his dream. Lava Girl uses sleepwalking to teach Max daydreaming. Linus bursts Dream Boy's bubble, creating a flood of bubbles. His crush froze the Sea of Confusion by giving him clarity through attraction. George Lopez represents the duality of man. Mr. Electric is supposed to power the dreams like a teacher should. The Ice King is overprotective like Norris's father. Electricidad is Electric Dad being a dream crusher. All dualities in Max's teacher, all voiced by George Lopez. Tobor loses the train of thought like Max caused his teacher to do. The father loses the clip-on tie to signify maturation. Lava Girl destroys the dream book like Linus did, and every time someone says something, it happens, like the teacher telling Max and Linus they will be friends, or Linus saying Max should bring them to class tomorrow, and they do. Again, not foreshadowing, they made these things happen by saying it. Of course, there's also everything I said before this and everything I've yet to say after this for the sake of formatting, and every last bit of foreshadowing and exposition you can get your hands on counts too by this film's message.
There we go.
So yes, everyone in this movie is writing the plot as they live it. That is the truth. But something still doesn't add up. Characters still know things,
Yeah.
even when they're not being controlled. The movie starts off weird to begin with. Why do they live right next to Max's school?
Yeah, that's
Well,
interesting.
I assume
Why?
he drives to work. And why are they moving around? What
Yeah.
other school? Why mention this at all? There is something much deeper than just kids making things real.
Yeah.
How does all of this work? How can a town full of kids create planets and monsters and storms without the outside world knowing about it? How can Lava Girl take over Earth's volcanoes at the end and not draw suspicion? How can Shark Boy rule Earth's oceans? Who are the characters to begin with? Where does this movie even take place? What is all this? Who runs this? Oh, I found the answer.
Who?
And then I discovered they made a sequel.
Did they? Cause I never saw the sequel.
You probably don't know this, but 4 years ago, Robert Rodriguez released a sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl
Yeah.
called We Can Be Heroes.
We Can Be Heroes.
It has superheroes, super kids, aliens, and literally Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And yet, apparently, he says it isn't a sequel?
Huh?
Or is it? It takes place in a superhero world, and one day all of their heroes are kidnapped by aliens. So the heroes' kids are placed under government protection, and the film is about them escaping, training, and saving their parents. It's a lot like his other films, like Spy Kids, like Shorts, and not only do I think it's connected to Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but I think it's even more than just a sequel. I think it's the answer. It has insane twists. You see, Earth's government is revealed to have been infiltrated with aliens for years. Even one of the kids is an alien. She's actually their leader in disguise, and she has the power to draw things that come to life.
Kind of like Max.
The aliens aren't even evil in the end. They were just testing the kids, training them to become better heroes so they could save the universe one day. And the entire alien planet is run by children with adults as their servants, kind of like Max's planet, where kids rule and adults drool. The whole movie is similar to Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and of course, they are in it. Their daughter, Guppy, can control water.
Yeah.
She's a main character.
That's really cool.
When asked about this, Rodriguez claimed it's just borrowing them, but it's also borrowing cereal brands and plot lines and actors, and I think it is a separate universe, yes. I think that this movie is a fictional reality made real by Max's class.
What?
Seriously, the whole sequel, from the aliens to the kids, to the reality, to the acting, to the directing, the visuals, it's like the mind of a child. They talk about it in the movie.
On our planet, children are in charge.
It's almost like the girl is a powerful dreamer who wrote the whole thing. So when I was writing my theory and saw that Max's school was suspicious, it didn't take me long until I discovered the sequel, and I already knew the twist ending. Why? Because this is the missing puzzle piece that explains Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Do you see? Planet Drool is the original form of the sequel's universe. It was the test. It was the kids' first version. It was the original model of the universe they ended up creating. It's the only solution. And do you see where I'm going with this?
So is it a prequel?
If not, brace yourself.
It was always real. What?
The reason Max's parents aren't surprised by Shark Boy and Lava Girl, the reason Max's teacher doesn't lose his mind when he sees himself as a cyborg, the reason they live across the street and move from school to school, and the whole reason the school is so weird to begin with, is because it's not a school at all.
I'm a teacher, right? Wrong.
Oh.
It's a government operation to create superheroes. The sequel...
Huh?
Unambiguously proves it. This is why Planet Drool and Super Children and Breaks in Reality don't draw attention of the outside authorities. They're already here. They are the ones running it. And nobody has caught this in 15 years. This is just like how the alien government created the supers in We Can Be Heroes. It's the whole point of the movie. Half these characters are in on it. The whole thing is a lucid dreaming experiment staged by this government to manipulate the kids into creating heroes for them. I guarantee this is the case. Everything is fake. All of the objects in Max's surroundings at school, at home, are placed in such a way to get him to dream of outer space. Superheroes, dreams, lava, sharks, exactly what they need. Just look at the climax. The movie tries to suggest they were all knocked out when the windows exploded and they dove to safety. They imply that they dreamt the whole adventure in just a few seconds before waking back up.
Yeah.
Then, how could Max have time to make himself comfortable and prop his head up? How could Linus lay there at his desk and drool all that in seconds?
Yeah, how?
Because it wasn't just a couple seconds. It was the whole hour. They were knocked unconscious on purpose. Some of them weren't even knocked out. It was all being controlled. It would also better explain the months of shared dreaming. Everything has been carefully controlled by the people influencing Max's mind. It's not random chance that Max makes these things happen. He's been influenced from every tiny detail around him. It's hard to know where to even draw the line, but most shocking of all is the secret manual. What's that, you ask?
Dreams for Dummies?
Max writes in his journal months before the film that Shark Boy and Lava Girl encouraged him to dream better. And when he woke up, he found a dream concentration technique manual under his bed, written by some creepy guy named Christopher Burnett. Who the hell is this? This isn't just some random thing Max created. That's like a person and a giant book of instructions for him to follow. This book was literally placed under his bed by someone in the dead of night while he was asleep, and those same people have influence over his dreams, having Shark Boy and Lava Girl teach him. So Max and the others are living under constant observation right next to the base of operations in a total lie designed to do exactly what ended up happening by people who can enter his dreams. So who are they? Who are these people? Ever think about Mr. Electricidad? Is such a strange name.
Yeah,
it's just electric in Spanish. For someone who dislikes being called Mr. Electric, it doesn't make much sense. Pin a freaking lightning bolt to his tie. No, he does this because he's supposed to. It's why he and the others talk so weirdly. He's not crushing dreams, he's testing them. The movie ends on this point.
You have awakened me.
Oh. Right in the middle of this, the government uses him in every adult position on Planet Drool, from Tobor, who has his teacher side, to the Ice King, who has his fatherly side, to, of course, Mr. Electric, who has his cruel side.
Yeah.
And this means that the big bad Mr. Electric would quite literally be the teacher, recording himself and projecting it onto a giant screen robot in the lucid dream. That's seriously what it is. When the robot appears in the tornado, he doesn't really say much. He's just reading basic lines and standing there waiting because it's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
The real man is busy now helping his students down below. Mr. Electricidad tries testing Max's dreams a few times, but when he realizes that Max used the book to distract him, he focuses in on it hard.
What do you have there?
That's all my most precious dreams in it.
You're a good kid, Max.
And then has Linus steal it seconds later. He should have known when Max gave his presentation, but it didn't matter to him until Max accidentally used its true power in front of him. All of this is creepy and sneaky, but the real one...
So Mr. Electric had Linus steal the journal because he wanted to know the power? Maybe? I'm trying to think why. I don't know, maybe it'll make sense.
Are Max's very own parents. They represent the duality of Max's inner struggle, torn between innocent dreams and harsh reality. It means his mother is the realistic authority and his father is the blissful dreamer. This simple fact reveals everything about both of them. His dad describes himself as a writer, and the director uses him to describe his own personal thoughts. Max's father is the only one who truly understands imagination and how to use it. He uses it during the final battle to save them. This man would be the one the government has been working closely with, using what they know about his powers to create an environment for supers. Max's mother, on the other hand, would likely be some sort of government agent caretaker, working with the school and for the military that I presume is surrounding this fake town. All of this explains the true identities of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. They don't just represent his parents' dreams and their lives, but rather, they are his parents, using his dreams to teach him how to do better. This is why they act like they already know each other when they meet. And it's why Max basically ignores Shark Boy and Lava Girl in favor of his parents at the end. He realizes they're just parallels like everything else in the movie. Shark Boy contains the dad's missing authority. Lava Girl contains the mom's missing innocence. Look at her color choices in the end. They're just characters being used to show Max what true heroes are like, to get him to create more, to create real ones that will eventually be used to defend the world and usher in a new era for peace. And that outcome is literally the plot
in the movie
of the entire sequel. Planet Drool is also real by all this logic, even more real than the school. It's a real place, suggested to be somewhere on the planet of Pluto, created by dreamers and the government alike to send kids in their sleep. So overall, we have a government organizing a school of extremely promising imaginative children, and they're testing on them until they can get them to dream what they want. Max is the biggest focus because his father literally represents the director, the writer of the world, and they want his son to take up the torch and lead a new generation of dreamers when they create their own universe filled with heroes, just like the sequel.
Can we count on you to not just help save your planet, but the entire galaxy?
And this is exactly what the film's about, without a doubt, because the real world here was written by Robert Rodriguez, and Planet Drool was all based
Oh, that's right.
on his son's
On his son's
dreams.
journal.
Mind absolutely blown. But how does their experiment turn out in the end? Well, it's hard to tell. Max is causing things to happen, but the government is also placing things to persuade him, and it's hard to tell which is which. Like, if Mr. Electric is a real robot made by the military, then did Max really create anything? Did he succeed? Did he actually achieve becoming a daydreamer? The answer is still yes. Max's true power is not in creating little objects. It's in writing the entire story. It's in the subtleties I mentioned. It's in every minute detail that fuels the film. And of course, it's in creating superheroes, which he did when Marissa gained ice powers. So, their experiment was either a resounding success or a colossal failure, depending on how you view the sequel's pocket universe. Either Max's world is doomed from too much mind control, or the pocket universe can save everyone. This is likely what the aliens are recruiting heroes for during the sequel.
Sorry, I'm not
They
talking that
have
much. I'm
government
just
figures, and
watching
run
this
things
because,
in the name of
like, this
writer
is so
Robert
interesting to
Rodriguez.
me.
How so? Well, this man often uses his Latin American heritage to underscore his movies, and George Lopez has super strength for a reason, while Marissa could very well be the sequel's grandmother, or the Wishing Rock from Outer Space in shorts. Roswell, New Mexico, perhaps? Like I said, it's unlimited chaos, but not as hopeless as you might fear.
The following story is true. It might have started as a dream, but as we saw yesterday, when we make our dreams a reality, reality becomes a dream. So dream a better dream, then work to make it real.
Believe him.
Still don't believe me? Well, Shark Boy was the son of a marine biologist who studied sharks. He could
Yes.
somehow speak to them, but was soon separated from his father during a, quote, mysterious electrical storm, in which the entire
Electrical.
lab was destroyed, and they both lost each other at sea. The sharks found him and took him to a secret cave hideout, where he got raised by them and taught to be a shark, causing him to somehow grow fins and gills. For some reason, Shark Boy starts traveling the universe looking for his father. In the end, they reunite exploring the ocean floor. So how did Shark Boy get these powers? How did he become a shark? An electrical storm, you say? None of this makes any sense.
Yeah.
Unless Shark Boy is the test. What is happening to Shark Boy mirrors exactly what happened to Max and Marissa. They have been tested on by their own parents for the greater good. Max's dreams tell him this. If I could wager, I'd bet Shark Boy's father is Christopher Brunette, the man in charge. Everything is about dreams coming true
Yeah.
and creating more dreams, like Shark Boy and Lava Girl living out theirs in the end. Everything affects everything. It's just like real life when parents dream for a family and create a child like Max, or how a director makes his son's dreams into a real movie, which is why young Shark Boy was played by none other than his son.
What?
As I said before,
Holy
Shark
shit.
Boy represents the realism within Max's dad, and
Yeah.
this represents how the writer created their world. I did some research and found detailed official books on Amazon, one of which is a page-for-page copy of Max's entire dream journal I will be buying. I also have questions about Max's bunk bed, his girl goggles, and Linus having Rodriguez's studio logo on his own dream journal. So stay tuned. Subscribe. Join my
Ooh.
Patreon for my Discord and early videos. Also more of this.
A part
Of
2?
course, comment questions below for more. I may just feature them if I can get back to this madness, because people wanted this solved. It was requested by so many, and also a fan of the movie I met in an online game, so I held a poll and immediately knew this needed to happen.
So, are we getting a part 2 to Shark Boy and Lava Girl at some point? If so, then I'm very, very interested on that. So, that was good. That was actually a really solid theory. Makes perfect sense too. Yeah. I'll see you all again in the next video. Whenever that will be. Later.